Welcome back to JForrest English Training. I'm Jennifer, and today you're going to learn 100 advanced adjectives to describe people and personality. You can use these adjectives to describe yourself when you're attending a job interview or on your resume to sound very advanced and professional. Let's get started. First, let's talk about sentence structure. Commonly, you can use to be plus adjective. Janice is nice. Of course, you need to conjugate your verb according to the subject. I am nice. Another common structure is to use adjective plus noun. I met a nice person. Notice the adjective comes directly before the noun, so it's article, adjective, noun. I met a nice person. Pay attention to this sentence structure. I'll also teach you more advanced sentence structures in the different examples. Now let's get started with our 100 advanced adjectives, starting from A all the way to Z. Adaptable. Adaptable. This is when you're willing and able to change to suit different conditions. So let's say 1 minute you're editing a report, next you're leading a presentation, next you're analyzing financial information. So you're working and changing to do many different things. I'm very adaptable. Adept. Adept. You're adept at something. Notice that preposition at. When you're adept at something, it means you're skilled at something. You're very good at something. I'm very adept at using SAP. Adventurous. Adventurous. This is when you're willing to try new or different things. A job posting might say, we're looking for someone who's adventurous because this position requires traveling all over the world. So if you're adventurous, you can apply. Affectionate. Affectionate. This is showing feelings of liking or love. She gave me an affectionate farewell. So a very loving farewell. I summarized all 100 adjectives into a free lesson PDF that includes the adjective, the definition, and an example sentence. You can look in the description for the link to download the free lesson PDF. Ambitious. Ambitious. This is when you have a strong desire to become successful in your career or in life. I'm attracted to ambitious men. Does that describe you? Are you ambitious? Artistic. Artistic. This is when you're able to create or enjoy art. Would you describe yourself as artistic? Assertive. Assertive. When you're assertive, it means you're confident saying what you mean or what you feel without fear. I need to work on being more assertive. I need to work on saying what I want, saying what I feel without being afraid of what other people might think of me. I need to work on being more assertive. Attentive. Attentive. When you're attentive, it means you're very helpful and you take care of others. I try to be very attentive to my students, which means I try to be very helpful. Authentic. Authentic. This means that you're real, you're true. You're not pretending to be someone that you're not, you're authentic. Sometimes being authentic around others is difficult. Sometimes being the real you is difficult because you're afraid that people might judge you. Approachable. Approachable. This describes someone who is friendly and easy to talk to. My goal is for all my students to describe me as approachable. Would you describe me as approachable, friendly, and easy to talk to? If so, put that in the comments. Jennifer, you're approachable. Balanced. Balanced. This is when you consider all sides or opinions equally. Even though she's a Democrat, she's very balanced. She considers other sides and opinions other than Democratic opinions. Bright, bright. This is another way of saying smart or intelligent or someone who learns quickly. My students are all very bright. I know you'll learn these adjectives very quickly because you're bright. Broad-minded, broad-minded. This is someone who is willing to accept different behaviors, different opinions, different lifestyles. Being broad-minded is important when you work with people from around the world. Candid, candid. When someone is candid, it means that they're honest and they tell the truth about a situation. To be candid, I left my job because I didn't like my boss. Cheerful. This is someone who is happy and positive. Cheerful. I try to surround myself with cheerful people. Chill. Chill. This is an informal adjective but commonly used. And it describes someone who is relaxed, who isn't worried, isn't anxious, who's very chill. As I get older, I become more and more chill. More relaxed. I don't stress as much. I'm not as anxious or worried. I'm chill. Are you chill? Put that in the comments if you are. I'm chill. Clever. Clever. This is another advanced way of saying smart or intelligent, someone who learns quickly. She's a very clever student. Communicative. Communicative. This describes someone who is willing to talk to others and who is willing to share information. Did you notice that Julie wasn't very communicative at the meeting today? Compassionate. Compassionate. This is someone who is very sympathetic to others, especially when others are in a difficult situation and they want to help that person. They're very compassionate. She's a compassionate reporter. Competitive. Competitive. This describes someone who really wants to win and who enjoys competition. I am very competitive. Sometimes I'm a little too competitive because I love winning. What about you? Are you competitive? Charismatic. Charismatic. This is someone who is well liked and well admired. And because of that, they're able to influence others easily. If you want to win the election, you need to be more charismatic. Considerate. Considerate. This is when you care about and respect others. It was very considerate of you to change the meeting because you knew I had an appointment. Constructive. Constructive. This is usually information or advice that's meant to help someone or help someone improve their performance. Can I give you some constructive criticism? Can I criticize you, but in a way that's meant to help you improve your performance? Can I give you some constructive criticism? Coy. Coy. When someone's coy, they intentionally don't reveal information because they want to make that information more engaging or interesting. She's being coy coy about the party. So she's not sharing a lot of details about the party, but that makes you wonder about the party and want to know more. So it makes you interested in the party. She's being very coy about the party. Courageous, courageous. Someone who's courageous is able to control their fear or negative emotion in fearful or dangerous situations. It was very courageous of you to quit your job and go back to school in your 40s. Creative, creative. This is someone who produces or uses unique or original ideas. We're looking for someone who's creative. Curious, curious. This is someone who is interested in learning about the world around them. Being curious is a great quality when you're learning a language. Would you agree with that? If you agree, put I agree in the comments. Dependable, dependable. This is someone deserving of trust and confidence. My assistant is very dependable. Determined, determined. When you're determined, you want something really badly and you're not willing to let anything or anyone stop you from getting the thing that you want. If you're determined, you'll become fluent. That's my promise to you. But it takes determination. You need to be determined. Direct, direct. When someone's direct, it means they communicate in a way that says exactly what they mean in a very honest way without worrying about being judged or hurting someone's feelings. I like how our CEO is very direct even when delivering bad news. Dynamic, dynamic. This is someone who has a lot of different ideas and who is very energetic and forceful. Has anyone ever told you that you're very dynamic? Easygoing, easygoing. This describes someone who is relaxed and who doesn't easily get upset. My new manager is way more easygoing than my last one. Eclectic, eclectic. When something is eclectic, it consists of many different types, methods, or styles. I work with an eclectic group of students in the Finally Fluent Academy. So I work with many different types of students in the Finally Fluent Academy. Emotional, emotional. This is when you have and express strong feelings and emotions. John became very emotional at his retirement party. Energetic, energetic. This is when you have a lot of energy. Even though she's almost 80, my grandmother is very energetic. Enthusiastic, enthusiastic. This is when you have an interest in a particular subject and you're very eager to want to be part of that subject. I love how enthusiastic you are about our new plan. Extroverted, extroverted. This describes a person who enjoys being with other people and are very energetic when they're with other people. Although I'm not very extroverted, I love working in sales. Exuberant, exuberant. This describes someone who is very energetic and simply happy to be alive. She's an exuberant speaker. Fearless, fearless. Of course, this means you're free from fear. Good negotiators need to be fearless. Flexible, flexible. This is when you're able to change or be changed based on the situation. My schedule is very flexible next week. Forgiving, forgiving. This describes someone who forgives easily. I'm thankful I have a forgiving boss. A boss who forgives easily. Fruitful, fruitful. This is something that produces good results. He had a fruitful career as a lawyer. So it says he was very successful in his career. He produced good results. Frank, frank. This describes someone who is honest and sincere. Thank you for being frank with me. Now remember that Frank is the name of a man. So you could possibly say Frank is very frank. So a man whose name is Frank is very frank, which means he's very honest and sincere. Fun-loving, fun-loving. This is when you enjoy having fun and not being too serious. Although I'm the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, I'm also very fun-loving. Gregarious, gregarious. This is someone who likes being with other people. Being gregarious is an important quality of a nurse because if you're a nurse, you need to like being around other people and spending time with your patients. Genuine, genuine. This describes someone who is real and exactly what they appear to be. Her speech was genuine. Honorable, honorable. Notice that silent H. honorable. This is someone who's honest, silent H, honest, and fair. She's an honorable boss, and I respect her decision. Humble, humble. This is someone who's modest, who shows a low estimate of their own worth. Although she makes $2 million a year, she's very humble. So this means she doesn't act like she makes $2 million a year. She drives a regular car, lives in a regular house, wears regular clothes. She's humble. Handy, handy. Someone who's handy means they're really skilled with using their hands, especially when it comes to tools and repairing, fixing, or even making things. I am not very handy, which means I'm not very good at repairing or fixing things or making things using tools with my hands. What about you? Would you describe yourself as handy? Are you handy? Imaginative. Imaginative. This is someone who can easily think of new, creative, original, innovative ideas. Kamal is an imaginative designer. Inquisitive. Inquisitive. This describes someone who wants to know about a lot of different things. Usually someone who's inquisitive asks a lot of questions. I love when my students are inquisitive about my lessons. So I love when my students ask questions. Impeccable, impeccable. This is something that is perfect, that has no mistakes, no errors, no flaws. Sylvia gave an impeccable performance. Intuitive, intuitive. When someone's intuitive, it means they can understand things, but more based on emotions and feelings rather than facts or information. I'm very intuitive when it comes to hiring, which means when I hire someone, I trust the feeling I get about that person rather than the facts on their resume. So they might have this amazing resume, but when I'm talking to them, if I don't get a good feeling about that person, I'm not going to hire them, which means I'm very intuitive. I trust my intuition. I'm very intuitive. Ingenious, ingenious. This is very intelligent or skillful. The way you handled that situation was ingenious. Inviting, inviting. Someone who's inviting makes you feel very welcome in any new environment or situation. The new HR manager is very inviting. Jubilant, jubilant. This is feeling and expressing great happiness, usually because of a success. The fans were jubilant after the game. So they were very happy, which means the team won. The fans were jubilant. Keen, keen. This describes someone who is very willing and eager and wants something. She's very keen. She's already followed up with me. So maybe we had an interview yesterday and she already sent me an email asking if I needed to know anything else about her. She's very keen. Kind-hearted, kind-hearted. This is someone who really enjoys helping other people. My doctor is very kind-hearted. Lively, lively. This is someone who's full of energy and enthusiasm. My team is so lively today. Logical, logical. This means reasonable based on good judgment. You made a logical decision. Loyal, loyal. This is someone who provides support in any situation. Kirk is our most loyal manager. He's been with the company for 20 years. Laudable, laudable. This is something that deserves praise, even though there was no success or little success. Your actions are laudable. So even though you didn't succeed or get the result you wanted, you still deserve praise, most likely because you acted in a very responsible way. Mature, mature. When someone's mature, it means They act in a way that's very well developed emotionally. Although Shirok is only an intern, he's very mature. So this suggests he acts in a way that makes him seem older because he's more well developed emotionally compared to his age. Meticulous, meticulous. This means very careful with close attention to detail. As a quality assurance professional, I need to be meticulous. Marvelous, marvelous. This is another way of saying very good. Marvelous. They did a marvelous job for the new client. Nimble, nimble. This is someone who is quick and exact with either their movements or their thoughts. His nimble hands are perfect for repairing antiques. Antiques are very delicate, but he can move his hands in a very quick way. His hands are very nimble. Open-minded, open-minded. This describes someone who is willing to consider ideas or opinions that are different from their own. Doctors are becoming more and more open-minded. Optimistic, optimistic. This describes someone who is hopeful, who sees the good parts of a situation, or who believes that good will come from a situation. I'm optimistic that I'll pass my oral exam. I'm hopeful. Out of this world. Out of this world. This is something that's extraordinary, superb. Your design skills are out of this world. Outgoing, outgoing. This is someone who is friendly and energetic and finds it easy and enjoyable being with other people. Now that I feel confident with my English, I'm more outgoing at work. This is something a lot of students want to have. So definitely improve your English so you can be more outgoing. Pensive, pensive. When someone is pensive, it means they're thinking, and they're usually quite quiet. They're thinking very seriously. They're pensive. Julie was very pensive during our presentation, which means she was quite quiet during the presentation and she was just thinking. Proactive, proactive. This means that you take action to change something rather than waiting for the situation to happen and then simply reacting to the situation. One of my best qualities is that I'm proactive. Perceptive, perceptive. This means that you're very good at noticing details and information that other people may not notice. We really appreciate your perceptive comments. So you provided information that nobody else thought of, but you were very perceptive. We appreciate your perceptive comments. Persistent, persistent. This is when you continue doing something in a determined way, even when you face difficulties or challenges. When I'm solving a problem, I'm very persistent. Punctual, punctual. This means you arrive or you do something at the scheduled time, so it means not late. Thankfully, the contractors are very punctual. They say they'll be here at 9 a.m. and 9 a.m. they're here. They're very punctual. Qualified, qualified. This is when you have the skill, the knowledge, or the ability to do something specific. Ronnie is the most qualified accountant I know. Riveting, riveting. This means extremely interesting. The speakers at the conference were all riveting. Renowned, renowned. This means you're famous for something specific. Maya Angelou is a renowned poet. So she's famous, but for something specific, poetry. She's a renowned poet. Ravishing, ravishing. This means extremely beautiful. You look ravishing in that dress. Or if you're a male, you look ravishing in that suit. Reverent, reverent. This is showing great respect or admiration. The reverent crowd became silent when she appeared on stage. So to show their respect and admiration, the crowd became silent. So we can say they're a reverent crowd. Self-reliant. Self-reliant. This means that you rely on your own skills and abilities. When you work remotely, you need to be self-reliant. Sensible. Sensible. This means having and using good judgment. I like working with Hamid. He's very sensible. Savvy. Savvy. This means you have practical knowledge and skills. She's very savvy when it comes to marketing. And I'm sure you're familiar with the term tech savvy, which means you're very skilled and knowledgeable when it comes to technology. Tech savvy. I'm very tech savvy. What about you? Are you tech savvy? Put that in the comments. I'm tech savvy. I'm not tech savvy. Supportive. Supportive. This is giving encouragement and approval. As a teacher, I try to be very supportive to all my students. Sincere. Sincere. This means honest, not false, not invented. Her apology was sincere. So she said, I'm sorry, and she said it in an honest way, not I'm sorry, where clearly she's not actually sorry. I'm sorry. Her apology was sincere. Straightforward. Straightforward. This means honest and not hiding one's opinions. I love how straightforward Shirley is. Sage. Sage. This means wise, and we use it specifically with people who are wise because they're old. And with their old age, they gain wisdom. They're very sage. The consultant has 20 years of experience, so we can trust his sage advice. Steadfast. Steadfast. This means staying the same for a long time, not changing, not losing purpose. Jose is a steadfast assistant. Tenacious. Tenacious. This is when you're unwilling to accept defeat or unwilling to stop doing or having something. Felicity is a tenacious student. Thrilling. Thrilling. This means very exciting. Fabio's plan for the company is thrilling. Tender. Tender. This means gentle, loving, or kind. It's important to be tender when you're delivering bad news. Tactful. Tactful. This is when you're careful not to say or do something that could upset others. Yusuf quit in a very tactful way. Upbeat. Upbeat. This means positive, with hope for the future. Marie is very upbeat about the proposal. Unrelenting. I like this one. Unrelenting. This means extremely determined, never weakening or ending. I appreciate my parents' unrelenting support. Their support never weakens. It never ends. It's unrelenting. Versatile. Versatile. This is when you're able to change easily from one activity to another, or when you can use one thing in many different ways. Brad Pitt is a versatile actor. So he's one actor, but you can use him in many different ways. Romance, comedy, action, drama. He's a versatile actor. Vibrant. Vibrant. This means energetic, exciting, and full of enthusiasm. I love how vibrant my work environment is. Witty. Witty. When someone's witty, it means they're funny, but in a very intelligent way. My pilot was very witty. Youthful. Youthful. This means having qualities that are typical of young people. Her youthful enthusiasm makes coming to work more enjoyable. So maybe she isn't youthful, maybe she is 50 or 60 years old, but her enthusiasm, her energy is youthful. which is a very positive thing. So it's more enjoyable coming to work. Zealous, zealous. This means enthusiastic and eager. I appreciate how zealous she is. Amazing job! Now you have 100 advanced adjectives that you can start using in your vocabulary to sound more advanced and more professional. So what's your favorite new adjective from the list? Share your favorites in the comments below and leave an example sentence. And remember, you can download the free lesson PDF that summarizes all 100 adjectives with their meaning and with example sentences. So look in the description for the link to download the free lesson PDF. And if you want to keep expanding your vocabulary, you can get started with your next lesson right now.